devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Lord Sri Krishna, Shri Guru and Shri
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So today we have a very distinguished speaker with us, Her Grace Shukwa Mataji. Mataji is a disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And Mataji is known for her very thought-provoking, full of realizations, discourses and seminars. She has written one book also, Deeping Your Heart, the Practice of Compassion. And she has given various seminars in Bhaktivedanta Hospital in Mumbai, Iskcon Chapati, Iskcon Nasik. And for the last 2 years, we are also being blessed by her wonderful association. She also joins the I camp in Barsana every year. So we are extremely thankful to Mataji for coming over here and giving us her very nice association. So भक्तों से मैं निवेदन करूँगा अपने मोबाइल फोन्स को कृपया स्विच ऑफ कर दें या मोबाइल साइलेंट मोड पे कर दें. हरे कृष्ण.
श्रीमद् भागवतम 8वां स्कंद अध्याय 19 बलि महाराज से वामनदेव द्वारा ज्ञान की याचना. श्लोक संख्या 14. पिता प्रहलाद पुत्र ते तद्विद्वान् द्विजवत्सलः स्वम् आयुः द्विज लिंगेभ्यः देवेभ्यः अदात् सा याचिता. पिता प्रहलाद पुत्रस्ते तद्विदित्वान् द्विजवत्सलः स्वयं आयुर्द्विजलिंगेभ्यो देवेभ्यो दात् सा याचिता. पिता प्रहलाद पुत्रस्ते तद्विद्वान् द्विजवत्सलः स्वयं आयुर्द्विजलिंगेभ्यो देवेभ्यो दात् सा याचिता. पिता प्रहलाद पुत्रस्ते तद्विद्वान् द्विजवत्सलः स्वयं आयुर्द्विजलिंगेभ्यो देवेभ्यो दात् सा याचिता. शब्दार्थ अनुवाद एवं तात्पर्य कृष्ण कृपा मूर्ति श्री श्रीमद A.C भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद के द्वारा। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की शब्दार्थ। पिता पिता प्रहलाद पुत्र, महाराज प्रहलाद का पुत्र, ते तुम्हारा, तत् विद्वान, यद्यपि ये उसे ज्ञात था, द्विज वत्सलः, फिर भी ब्राह्मणों के प्रति प्रेम होने से, स्वम अपने, आयु उम्र, द्विज लिंगेभ्य, जब ब्राह्मणों के वेश में थे, देवेभ्य, देवताओं को, अदात, दे दिया, सा, उसने, याचितः, मांगे जाने पर। अनुवाद। तुम्हारे पिता विरोचन, जो महाराज प्रहलाद के पुत्र थे, ब्राह्मणों के प्रति अत्यंत स्नेही थे। यद्यपि वे जानते थे कि ब्राह्मणों का वेश धारण करके देवतागण उनके समक्ष आए थे, किंतु उनके मांगे जाने पर उन्होंने उन्हें अपनी आयु दे डाली। कृपया दोहराएं। तुम्हारे पिता विरोचन, जो महाराज प्रहलाद के पुत्र थे, ब्राह्मणों के प्रति अत्यंत स्नेहिल थे। यद्यपि वे जानते थे कि ब्राह्मणों का वेश धारण करके देवतागण उनके समक्ष आए थे, किंतु उनके मांगे जाने पर उन्होंने उन्हें अपनी आयु दे डाली। तात्पर्य। बलि के पिता महाराज विरोचन ब्राह्मण वर्ग से इतने प्रसन्न थे कि ये जानते हुए भी कि उनसे दान लेने के लिए ब्राह्मणों का वेश धारण करके देवता आए हैं, उन्होंने दान देना स्वीकार किया।
Om Jnanatimrandasya Vinashala Shalakaya Chakshur Umlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shirta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavascha Shri Rupa Savitatam Raghunatham Vitantam Sajivam Vetam Savadutam Parijana Savitam Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Satvagana Lalita Shri Vishakanatamscha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Roshtute Tapta Kanchana Goran Radhe Vrindavadeshwari Rishabhanu Sutta Devi Paranamani Hare Kanchakavatu Yascha Vikasindhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class.
आप सबका धन्यवाद श्रीमद् भागवतम कक्षा में आने के लिए।
So we can associate with the words of Srila Prabhupada and get his association through his books.
और इसके माध्यम से हम श्रीला प्रभुपाद के शब्दों द्वारा उनका संग प्राप्त कर सकते हैं उनकी पुस्तकों से।
And we're reading from the chapter, Canto 8, Chapter 19, entitled The Lord Begs Charity from Bali Maharaj.
हम 8वें स्कंद 19वें अध्याय बलि महाराज से वामदेव द्वारा ज्ञान की याचना इससे पढ़ रहे हैं।
This verse in particular is connecting Bali Maharaj to Prahlad Maharaj.
विशेषकर इस श्लोक में बलि महाराज और प्रहलाद महाराज के संबंध को बताया गया है।
And also glorifying Bali Maharaj's father, Virochana.
और यहाँ पर बलि महाराज के पिता विरोचन का गुणगान किया है।
So the Lord continually keeps coming to the material world in many different forms.
तो भगवान निरंतर इस भौतिक जगत में अवतरित होते रहते हैं अलग अलग रूपों में.
The Lord doesn't give up on us.
जो भगवान है हम पर कृपा करना छोड़ते नहीं हैं.
Although we have given up on Him and left, He never gives up on us.
हालांकि हम उनका सानिध्य छोड़ चुके हैं और बिल्कुल छोड़ चुके हैं, परंतु भगवान ने हमको नहीं छोड़ा और इसलिए वो निरंतर इस संसार में प्रकट होते हैं.
In the verses before this, it was reviewing again the relationship of Hiranyakashipu to the Lord.
पिछले श्लोकों में हिरण्यकशिपु का क्या संबंध था भगवान से, उसके बारे में भी बताया गया.
Hiranyakashipu is the father of Maharaj Prahlad.
हिरण्यकशिपु प्रहलाद महाराज के पिता हैं.
And most of us know the story that Prahlad Maharaj had heard in the womb about Krishna and became very attracted to Krishna Bhakta.
और जैसे कि हम में से अधिकतर भक्त कथा को जानते होंगे, प्रहलाद महाराज ने गर्भ में कृष्ण के बारे में श्रवण किया और वो कृष्ण भक्त बने.
Even at the age of 5 years old, he was preaching to his friends to engage in service to Krishna.
5 वर्ष की आयु में ही वो प्रचार कर रहे थे अपने मित्रों को कृष्ण की सेवा में जुड़ने के लिए.
Although his father was a demon and his teachers were demons, Prahlad maintained his affection for the Lord.
हालांकि उनके पिता और उनके शिक्षक असुर थे, फिर भी प्रहलाद महाराज ने जो उनका प्रेम था भगवान के प्रति उसको संभाल के रखा.
Not only did he maintain his affection for the Lord, he had no animosity towards his father or his teachers.
और पिता के प्रति भगवान के प्रति प्रेम तो उन्होंने संजो के रखा ही, अपने पिता और शिक्षकों के प्रति भी उनके हृदय में कोई भी दुर्भावना नहीं थी.
He simply had his stand for devotion to Krishna.
उन्होंने ये कदम लिया था भगवान कृष्ण की भक्ति के प्रति, ये निश्चय किया था.
He had his commitment to not distinguishing between friends and enemies.
उनका ये व्रत था कि वो मित्र और दुश्मनों के बीच में अंतर नहीं करेंगे.
And so he could continue his practice of bhakti irregardless of the circumstances surrounding him.
और इसी कारण वो अपने भक्ति के अभ्यास को जारी कर पाए. इस बात की इससे वो प्रभावित नहीं हुए कि क्या उनकी परिस्थिति है उनके आसपास.
In the material world, and especially in this age of Kali Yuga, we are surrounded by the material energy.
इस भौतिक जगत में और विशेषकर कलयुग में हम ये भौतिक शक्ति के द्वारा घेरे हुए हैं.
And I know for myself, I'm nowhere near where Maharaj Prahlad is.
और
Consciousness.
मैं व्यक्तिगत अपने रूप से बात करूं तो मैं कहीं भी करीब नहीं हूं जो प्रहलाद महाराज की चेतना थी उसके.
And yet at the same time, he gives us an example of how we can be surrounded by demoniac energy and remain fixed in our stand.
फिर भी वो एक ऐसा उदाहरण प्रस्तुत करते हैं कि किस प्रकार से आसुरिक शक्तियों से घिरे होने के बावजूद कृष्ण भक्ति के प्रति दृढ़ निश्चय संकल्प करके उसका अभ्यास किया जा सकता है.
He had his perspective of life, his Krishna conscious perspective.
उनका कृष्ण भावनामृत दृष्टिकोण था जीवन के प्रति.
And his father and the teachers had their demoniac perspective.
और उनके शिक्षकों और उनके पिता का आसुरिक दृष्टिकोण था. जीवन के प्रति।
And he very much could not buy into that demoniac perspective.
और वो आसुरिक जो उनका दृष्टिकोण था उसमें वो अपने आप को झंझोड़ नहीं पाए, उसको खरीदा नहीं उन्होंने उनसे।
But he didn't have to fight with his teachers or his father.
परंतु उनको ऐसा नहीं है कि वो जो पिता और शिक्षकों से वो कोई युद्ध कर रहे हो।
He simply kept his practice strong.
उन्होंने मात्र जो उनका खुद का अभ्यास था उसको सशक्त रखा,
regardless of what his teachers or his father said to him.
चाहे उनके पिता और उनके शिक्षकों ने कुछ भी क्यों ना कहा हो।
He wasn't angry at them for having a different perspective.
वह अपने पिता और शिक्षकों के प्रति अंदर से क्रोधित नहीं थे कि उनका एक अलग दृष्टिकोण है।
He wasn't angry at them for trying to force their perspective on him.
और वो इस बात से भी क्रोधित नहीं थे कि उनके पिता और शिक्षक अपना दृष्टिकोण उन पर थोपने का भरसक प्रयास कर रहे हैं।
He simply didn't take their perspective.
उन्होंने मात्र उनके दृष्टिकोण को अपनाया नहीं।
He was fixed.
वो पूर्ण रूप से स्थिर थे।
In Bhagavad-Gita it says, for those whose desires are, don't know the exact, but the resolute determination for devotional service does not take place in the mind of one whose desires are many-branched. Something like that.
कृष्ण भक्ति के प्रति एकमात्र जो प्रगाढ़ इच्छा है उनके मन में नहीं उत्पन्न होती, जिनकी बुद्धि बहुशाखा है। व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि एका गुरुनंदना बहुशाखा है।
So we want to get clear inside of our own selves. You know, what are our desires? We may have a lot of desires, but we want to get clear, like, what are our resolute desires? What are our strongest desires?
तो हम आंतरिक रूप से इस बात पे स्पष्टता प्राप्त करना चाहते हैं कि हमारी प्रगाढ़ इच्छा क्या है, दृढ़ इच्छा हमारे जीवन की क्या है।
Oftentimes, without knowing it, we may have desires for Krishna consciousness, and then even unconsciously, probably even consciously, we have desires which are kind of conflict with devotional service.
तो हालांकि हमारी कई सारी इच्छाएं हो सकती हैं कृष्ण भावनामृत के प्रति, परंतु उनके प्रति सचेत न रहने के कारण या एक अन्य प्रकार की इच्छाएं भी होती हैं जो उनसे आपस में विरोध करती हैं।
So we feel pulled and torn.
तो हम ऐसा महसूस करते हैं कि हमें दो दिशाओं में खींचा जा रहा है।
And Krishna may look and think, so you have this desire, this desire, this desire, this desire, this desire. And it says Krishna will fulfill our desires. He's been fulfilling everyone's desires since time immemorial, right?
तो भगवान कृष्ण हमारी तरफ देखते हैं और कहते हैं ठीक है, तुम्हारी ये इच्छा है, ये इच्छा है, ये इच्छा है, ये इच्छा है। और भगवान कृष्ण तो अनादि काल से हमारी इच्छाओं की पूर्ति कर रहे हैं।
So he will fulfill all of our desires.
तो वो हमारी सारी इच्छाओं की पूर्ति करेंगे।
And he may fulfill our desires in such a way that we give up those that are not really aligned with who we are as a part of him.
और हो सकता है कि वो हमारी इच्छाएं इस रूप से पूरी करें कि हम अंततः वो इच्छाओं, ऐसी इच्छाओं को त्याग दें जो हम उनके अंश होने के कारण हमारे वास्तविक स्वरूप के अकॉर्डिंग नहीं है, उनके अनुरूप नहीं है।
At the same time, when we can examine our own desires and pray and consciously think what we might do to let go of those desires which conflict with devotional service, we may be able to become more clear and more fixed in our determination.
और जब हम सचेत रूप से ये निरीक्षण करते हैं ऐसी इच्छाओं का जो कृष्ण भावना वृत्त के प्रति अनुकूल नहीं है, और प्रार्थनाएं करके हम उनको अपनी तरफ से भी उनको त्याग सकते हैं.
The more clear we are about what we really want, the easier it is for Krishna to fulfill our desire.
जितना स्पष्ट हम आंतरिक रूप से खुद होते हैं कि हमें वास्तविकता में क्या चाहिए, भगवान कृष्ण के लिए भी उतना आसान होता है उस इच्छा को पूरी करना.
It says that the one thing that we can do, even though we're insignificant, we can really desire.
तो कहा गया है कि एक चीज जो हम कर सकते हैं, हालांकि यह नगण्य है, वो है इच्छा.
Desire is an important aspect of our participation in our own life and what's going to happen.
इच्छा एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण अंग है कि अगर हम अपने जीवन में, अपने खुद के जीवन में भाग लेना चाहते हैं या हमारे साथ जो हो रहा है उसके प्रति.
So when we see that we have desires that conflict with devotional service, we don't necessarily have to beat those desires out of ourselves.
जब हम ये देखते हैं कि हमारी ऐसी इच्छाएं हैं कि जो कृष्ण भक्ति के प्रति अनुकूल नहीं है, कि प्रतिकूल है, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि हमें अपने आप को बहुत मारना पीटना पड़ेगा.
Krishna consciousness is not an artificial imposition on the mind.
कृष्ण भावनामृत एक कृत्रिम रूप से कुछ मन के ऊपर थोपे जाने वाली वस्तु नहीं है.
It's more like an uncovering and an awakening.
ये उस प्रकार से है कि किसी चीज के ऊपर से पर्दा हटाया जाए और किसी चीज का उजागर प्रकाशमय हो.
So we can ask ourselves, what are the things that are covering me? What is the nature of the thoughts and the desires that are covering me?
तो मैं ये पूछ सकता हूँ कि ऐसी कौन सी चीज है जो मुझे ढके हुए है, उनका क्या प्रकृति है, क्या स्वभाव है जिसने मेरे को ढका हुआ है.
Sometimes desires are simply strategies we've designed in our mind to survive in life.
कभी कभार इच्छाएं ऐसे तौर तरीके होते हैं कि जिससे मैं इस जीवन में सरवाइव कर सकूं.
When we can look at the desire and go underneath the desire to see maybe what need we have as a soul, sometimes we can find the need and then choose another way to fulfill that need that doesn't conflict as much.
तो कभी कभार जब हम इच्छा के थोड़ी और गहराई में जाते हैं और देखते हैं एक जीवात्मा होने के कारण मेरा एक वास्तविक आवश्यकता क्या है, उस वास्तविक आवश्यकता को पहचानने के बाद मैं एक अन्य तरीके से जो मेरी कृष्ण भावनामृत के प्रति प्रतिकूल ना हो, उसके अनुकूल हो, उस रूप में उस आवश्यकता को मैं पूरा कर सकता हूँ.
So let's take an example of love. We all have a need for love because we were created in love.
तो उदाहरण के लिए हम देखते हैं हमारी जो प्रेम की आवश्यकता है, हम सबकी आवश्यकता है प्रेम प्राप्त करना, क्योंकि जो हमारा निर्माण हुआ है वो प्रेम में हुआ है.
So love in and of itself is not in conflict with devotional service. It's aligned with devotional service.
तो जैसे ये प्रेम की आवश्यकता है, ये ऐसा नहीं है कि कृष्ण भक्ति के प्रति इसका कोई विरोधाभास है, ये इसके प्रतिकूल है, नहीं, ये उसके अलाइनमेंट में है, उसी का अनुरूप है.
However, the way in which I choose to fulfill this need for love may conflict.
परंतु जिस रूप से मैं इस प्रेम का जो आवश्यकता है इसको पूरा करने का प्रयास करता हूँ, हो सकता है वो तौर तरीका अनुपयुक्त हो या विरोध करे कृष्ण भक्ति के प्रति.
So I'm just going to name a variety of ways that we could fulfill the need for love. So we have
तो ऐसे मैं कुछ तरीके बताऊंगी जिसमें हम प्रेम के जो आवश्यकता है इसको पूरा कर सकते हैं.
So we have a need for love, so we could do all the good things and all the right things so our authorities like us, and then we'll feel love. That's one way.
एक तरीका है कि ऐसे अच्छी चीजें करना और सही चीजें करना कि जिससे जो हमारे सीनियर है या अथॉरिटी है वो हमें शाबाशी देंगे, और ये एक तरीका है प्रेम प्राप्त करने का.
We could get married.
दूसरा तरीका है हम शादी कर सकते हैं.
We could have an illicit affair.
और अवैध संग करना ये भी एक तरीका हो सकता है.
We could try to become famous so that we would get a lot of attention.
हम बहुत प्रसिद्ध होने का प्रयास कर सकते हैं कि जिससे हम बहुत लोगों का ध्यान आकर्षित कर सकें.
Or we could take care of ourselves and take care of our needs so that we don't have to try to extract love from around us. We can love ourselves and honor ourselves and do it in that way.
या एक तरीका ये भी हो सकता है कि हम अपनी आवश्यकताएं को पूरा हम खुद से करें, हम खुद उसका ध्यान रखें, जिससे मेरे को हर बार बाहर की तरफ ना खोजना पड़े उस आवश्यकता को पूरी करने के लिए.
We can pray to Krishna, please help me to learn how to love.
हम भगवान कृष्ण से प्रार्थना कर सकते हैं, कृपया मेरी सहायता करें ये सिखाने के लिए कि प्रेम कैसे किया जाता है.
So these are a variety of ways in which we can fulfill the same need.
ये ऐसे अलग-अलग तौर तरीके हैं जिसका इस्तेमाल किया जा सकता है जो हमारी एक मूलभूत आवश्यकता है, प्रेम अनुभव करना.
So I'd like to say that desires are often strategies to fulfill a need. They're not necessarily the need itself.
तो इसलिए मैं अक्सर कहती हूँ कि जो इच्छाएं हैं वो एक स्ट्रेटजी है, एक विधि है आवश्यकताएं को पूरा करने के लिए. तो वो जो इच्छाएं हैं अपने आप में आवश्यकताएं नहीं हैं.
So we find we have some desire which is distracting us from devotional life.
अगर हम अपनी ऐसी कुछ इच्छाओं को देखते हैं, जानते हैं कि जो मेरे को आध्यात्मिक जीवन से मेरा ध्यान हटा रही है,
We might look and find out what is the need and how can I find a Krishna conscious strategy to fulfill that need so I don't have to be torn.
तो मैं ये जानने का प्रयास कर सकता हूँ कि मेरा क्या आवश्यकता है और कृष्ण भावनामृत तरीका क्या हो सकता है उस आवश्यकता को पूरा करने के लिए.
This will help us to align with our deepest desire to awaken to who we really are and to be who we really are.
ये हमारी सहायता करेगी, हमारी जो सबसे गहरी इच्छा है आत्म साक्षात्कार की, ये जागना कि मैं कौन हूँ, उसके उपयुक्त एक ही लाइन में वो आएगी.
When we do this, it helps us to simplify and be more simple in our life.
जब हम ऐसा करने का प्रयास कर सकते हैं तो आप देखेंगे कि हमारा जीवन बहुत सरल बन जाएगा.
Life can be very complicated.
जो जीवन है बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हो सकता है.
The mind can be very complicated.
मन बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हो सकता है
And very tricky.
और बहुत ही ट्रिकी भी.
But if we look, there were a number of 5-year-old boys in the Bhagavatam, Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj, who had fixed determination.
परंतु हम यहाँ पर देखते हैं कि 5 वर्षीय बालक श्रीमद् भागवतम में प्रहलाद महाराज और ध्रुव महाराज जो इतने दृढ़ थे भक्ति में.
So we want to just keep seeing what's in the way of us having fixed determination.
तो हम उन चीजों को देखना चाहते हैं कि क्या हमारे इस पथ में आ रहा है कि जो मैं दृढ़ भक्ति कर सकूं, इसके रास्ते में क्या क्या चीजें आ रही हैं.
And I did talk a lot about Prahlad in this verse, and here it's talking about Prahlad's father, Varochana. But we can just see that the Lord continues to come. He comes now to Prahlad's grandson, which is Bali Maharaj, and he continues to have a relationship. So we can depend on Krishna to keep wanting to have a relationship with us. And we can just remember these stories that Krishna keeps coming again and again, and he's coming to us daily. He's coming to us in the form of the deities. He's coming to us in the form of the holy name. He's coming to us as association with the devotees. He keeps coming and wanting to assist us. And we want to see, how am I receiving the blessings, or am I blocking the blessings? And if we receive the blessings, it definitely, it helps us to move forward. If we have any resistance to the blessings, sometimes it takes a little longer.
तो मैंने यहाँ पर प्रहलाद महाराज के बारे में चर्चा की. श्लोक में उनके पिता उनके पुत्र विरोचन के बारे में चर्चा की गई है. परंतु हम यहाँ देखते हैं कि जो भगवान बार बार आते हैं अपना संबंध स्थापित करने के लिए. प्रहलाद महाराज के केस में आए, यहाँ पर बलि महाराज के लिए आए, और उसी प्रकार से हमारे जीवन में भी प्रतिदिन भगवान आते हैं. तो हम इस बात का स्मरण कर सकते हैं कि किस प्रकार से भगवान कृष्ण इतने उत्सुक हैं कि वो अपना संबंध हमसे पुनः स्थापित करें. जैसे कि आज विग्रह के रूप में, हरिनाम के रूप में, भक्तों के संग के रूप में प्रतिदिन वो हमारे समक्ष प्रस्तुत होते हैं. और अगर हम सिर्फ ये सारे आशीर्वाद को स्वीकार कर लें तो भक्ति में आगे बढ़ना बहुत सरल बन जाता है. हमें सहायता देता है भक्ति में आगे बढ़ने के लिए. परंतु अगर अंदर से किसी भी प्रकार का विरोध है या एक रेजिस्टेंस है इन आशीर्वाद को स्वीकार करने के लिए, तो फिर लंबा समय लगता है.
So when we notice our desires which aren't helping us, instead of beating ourselves up about them, we can just understand these are habits that we've developed over time. And we can choose new habits to fulfill the same need. And by choosing new habits and practicing new habits, we can become detached from habits that really interfere with our process of becoming Krishna conscious.
तो जब हम ऐसी इच्छाएं को देखते हैं जो कृष्ण भावनामृत के प्रति अनुपयुक्त हैं, उसके विरोध हैं, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि मेरे को अपने आप से घृणा करनी होगी या अपने आप से उसको बहुत मारना होगा. हम ये जान सकते हैं कि ऐसा मेरी एक आदत की वजह से ये इच्छाएं आ रही हैं, और मैं चुनाव कर सकता हूँ एक नई प्रकार की आदत विकसित करने के लिए जो उसी आवश्यकता को कृष्ण भावनामृत भक्ति के उपयुक्त उसको पूरा करने के लिए.
So I just wanted to leave time if anybody has any other thoughts on the verse or this chapter, any thoughts, any contributions, any corrections or any questions. I'm opening up the floor.
तो मैं यहीं पर विराम देना चाहूंगी. अगर आप में से किसी और के कोई विचार हैं आज के श्लोक के ऊपर, किसी प्रकार का योगदान देना चाहें या प्रश्न पूछना चाहें.
Thank you, Mataji. Nice class. You said like the habits are desires are like strategies of the habits for fulfilling our needs in a perverted form, and we can develop new habits. We can develop new habits.
Absolutely.
But sometimes even if we wish to develop new habits, our conditioning is so strong that again and again we fail, and then we give up. Okay.
That's the only way Maya can get us. That's the only way she can get us. We're in the perfect process. Maya is not stronger than Krishna, but she'll break our resolve. And even just using the word failure, even using that word is disheartening. When we feel like a failure, why wouldn't I give up? So even choosing words like, oh, I'm doing that thing again, I'm doing that thing again, instead of saying, oh, I failed, it's like, oh, I'm doing my conditioned habit again. Oh yeah, I'm doing that. I know it doesn't work. Okay, let me bring myself back and practice. It's more, and then when we practice, every time we practice something new, to really acknowledge the little bit of difference we notice. It's like, wow, when I got angry, I caught myself and I spoke differently and I had a whole different exchange. Previously, I would have fought with this person and we wouldn't have talked for a week. And I did that. You really want to acknowledge, because we need that encouragement. So we want to give ourselves some slack. And when you encourage yourself and acknowledge when you did make a step towards a new habit, it actually starts creating new neural pathways in your brain. Chemicals are released in your body that say, oh yes, this feels good. And then that reinforces the new habit. But if we just say, oh, I'm a failure, I didn't do it, I don't even acknowledge, oh yeah, great, I did it one time and 20 times I did my old habit, it almost diminishes and breaks the power of that one small event where we did do it. We want to acknowledge when we are aligned, and then the other times it's just like we need to cut ourselves some slack. We've been conditioned since time immemorial. It's a long time we've been conditioned, and we just start practicing a new habit. It happens over time. It's by creating intentionality, creating the intention of creating a new habit, and then practicing and practicing and practicing, and not being attached to how long it's going to take for this to just, when we practice a habit without attachment to the result, which is what Bhagavad-Gita talks about, not being attached to the result. You just keep practicing. 5 years, you look back, it's like, wow, I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago. But if you're looking at every moment, am I different? Did I let go of that habit? Why is it taking me so long? Why do I still have that habit? I did it again. I can't believe I did it again. Beating yourself up. It's agonizing. We're agonizing over how conditioned we are, and it doesn't help us to let go of our conditioning. So, it's almost like, I don't know if you've ever read The 1 Minute Manager. There's a little book called The 1 Minute Manager, and it says instead of catching, your employees doing it wrong, you catch them doing it right. So, when you catch yourself doing it right, you acknowledge that and like, oh yeah, like, wow, that was so different. Thank you, Krishna, for helping me. I practiced one time. And then when you don't practice, you just say, oh, I didn't practice, and I see the results I get when I don't practice. When I practice my old habit, I don't particularly like those results. Let me try again and practice again. And it gives us, that encouragement to keep practicing the new habit. The only way Maya can get us is to get us to give up. She can get us to give up, and then she wins. So resignation is something we have to be very aware, aware of where we're resigned, where we've given up, where have we given up in our Krishna conscious life. Okay, yeah, I'm an impersonalist since time immemorial and my mind is crazy. Maybe someday, in some lifetime, I'll be able to hear Krishna's name. That was my resignation, and I didn't even realize I had that resignation until like about a month ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, how can I hear Krishna's name with all that resignation? I've already given up. I've already given myself permission to not hear. What an excuse. And I said, no, I'm going to just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. And every day now I'm trying with a different energy. So the resignation kills us. Thank you. So there's one here. Did you have a question also? Okay. There's one behind you.
Thank you, Mataji, for explaining, especially with an example of need for being loved, which is often fulfilled in the wrong ways. And one of the you mentioned that it can be fulfilled by loving ourselves. So what does it mean, loving ourselves, and how can it be different from the way of over glorifying oneself or pampering oneself?
Yeah, loving oneself is not glorifying oneself. It's taking care of oneself. It's paying attention to the needs of this boat, this machine that Krishna gave us. Krishna gave us this machine. It's a gift. Human form of life is not, it's a rare gift. Out of 8,400,000 species of life, there's only 400,000 human species. So this is a gift. So we want to take care of this gift. We want to, understand the limits of the gift. We don't need to pamper the gift, but we just need to understand what it needs and give it what it needs. But when we don't give it what it needs, a lot of times, then we'll have this perverted attraction for something which we just feel like we got to squeeze some enjoyment out because we're not taking care of the basics. So taking care of the basics means sleeping, eating, and then understanding what your body can digest. It's not just eating anything. Oh, maha, but it's understanding like, oh, when I eat that maha, man, I just want to go to sleep. Okay, then maybe that's not really what your body needs. It tastes good. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have things that taste good, but you need to monitor and be honest with yourself. And when you really take care of yourself and eat what really nourishes your body, you'll have different energy. Another thing is when we let go of all of our past pain and we heal ourselves emotionally, those things can drain us. They can suck a lot of energy out of us and distract us. And we can relive our past pain, which then creates more pain. So taking care of ourselves means paying attention. It's like, wow, I really got angry. What was that? Why am I so angry? What am I so angry about? Mostly when we're upset or angry, it's usually not about the circumstance that's happening right now. It's usually that this circumstance is reminding us of something from the past that we haven't resolved. Say my mother yelled at me. So when people yell at me, it's like it shakes me up. I don't like it because my nervous system is already like, no. So, but I need to understand that is something in me. And so if somebody raises their voice, and I notice I'm getting triggered, I don't have to react to them like, you're so mean, why are you yelling at me? It's just, I can just say, okay. Is there a way that I can hear beyond their anger? Can I hear beyond their anger? Or can I just take some space and deal with my upset and not engage when I'm upset and they're upset? Because it's sure to, you're going to go head to head then. So when you can be aware of what's going on underneath, that's another way to take care of yourself. So it's a deep topic, but generally as devotees, because we're supposed to be selfless, we don't pay attention to ourselves. But I'll tell you, when we don't pay attention to ourselves, it's not like our selfishness goes away. It's just in hidden, perverted ways, and it comes out in arguments with people, and it keeps perpetuating. It's not resolved. So, if we deal with it in a proactive way, we can actually disassemble the messes and then not perpetuate more messes to clean up. So that's like self-care and self-love is really honoring and respecting. I have needs. I'm a person, and I have needs. So what are they, and how can I best fulfill them? And I always look for, the most, even like exercise. Like for me, like I won't do anything regularly except for japa. If it takes more than 15 minutes, my mind will say, you don't have time for that. But I found this exercise, the Tibetan rites, which takes less than 15 minutes, and it's really powerful and it's really potent. So I can do that every day, and it gives me strength. I've been doing it for 20 years, and they call it the fountain of youth. So it's like if we can find strategies that fulfill our needs that are powerful and don't cost us a lot of time, these are gifts. So taking care of ourselves in those ways, like that. Does that make sense? Yes.
Oh, thank you. Coming back to the same question and point you were making, like you practice a habit without getting attached to result.
Say that again.
Practicing a habit without getting attached to result.
Right.
Two questions on that.
Okay.
First is, like practicing a habit without getting attached to a result, is it different from practicing a habit and expecting a result first?
They're connected.
Yes.
Expectations, when we have expectations, we set ourselves up for disappointment.
Because I was just wondering, like, if there are no expectations, why practice in the first place?
If there are no expectations.
So why practice in the first place? What are you practicing for? What is the objective?
Okay, I'm practicing to remove the coverings that are covering me from being who I am. So, I mean, we are practicing to find out, to get to the essence of who we really are. That's why we're in this material world. We're here to practice something. So you know, but we're not looking for like an immediate result, and we're not looking for the result to come in the way that we think it should come. Like Krishna, I need patience and I need it right now. Just inject me with patience. Okay, so if I pray for patience and Krishna wants to give me real patience, he's going to give me exercises where I have to practice patience. He's not going to inject it in my vein.
Yes.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
means you are expecting. I mean, whether it is immediate or it is ultimate, but like it is there. It is going to come.
I'm
Otherwise,
not going to use the word expecting. I'm going to use the word knowing that Krishna will fulfill my desires in his good time, in his way, and I just need to make sure that I am doing what I can do to practice things that are in alignment with Krishna consciousness and start letting go of habits which keep covering me more.
that means in a way we are acknowledging Krishna, right?
Say again?
We are acknowledging Krishna, his contribution. That's what we are acknowledging.
Well, and knowing Krishna guarantees, he guarantees he'll take us back eventually. So knowing that it'll happen, but not an expectation of what it's going to look like or how long it's going to take, like that. And then just me acknowledging, oh wow, I had a different exchange with the person, just saying, wow, that really worked. I like that effect. I like that. And when I fight, I don't feel good, and they don't feel good. And then you align yourself with habits that actually enliven you and encourage you and give you strength. And then the things that drain you and pull you down, you just keep seeing, oh, I did that thing again, and that's what I got, and I no longer wish to perpetuate that habit.
In that sense, I'm sorry, I'm clarifying. In that sense, it's not like there are some connotations attached or like some semantics involved in the word expectation. It's like maybe valid or invalid, but after all, like when Krishna is giving a mercy, so then like otherwise, how
Just
do you
for me, the word expectation
has got a negative
means
connotation.
it has a lot of connotations. So I would use the word hope, and I would use faith, rather than expectation. Because expectation is kind of more like business obligation to me. I would just say hope and faith and knowledge that Krishna loves me and he's going to help me. Like that, more than an expectation. Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions? The time is kind of up right now, but if there are any other questions, I'm willing to stay a little bit afterwards. And I don't want to take you out of your busy schedule. So one more question and two more questions, okay?
Hare Krishna. You mentioned that we should identify what is covering my pure desire to serve Krishna. That there are some desires which are not favorable in. Can you suggest some of the methods, because at our state, like we are not able to do it. Some other methods, practical methods, to distinguish between the pure desire and to identify some of the desires which are not favorable to Krishna consciousness.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of the things we tell ourselves, even unconsciously, like, I can't do it, I'm a failure, this is all unconscious. And we don't acknowledge that it's there, but it's in the space and it totally affects us. We're affected more by what's going on in here than what's going on out here. What's going on out here, interpreted by our mind, this is what affects us. Because if our mind is not taking what's out here and making it mean something bad about us, then we're not affected by out here. It's our mind's interpretation of what's happening and our mind's stories and what it's saying. Oh, you're never going to make it. You're an impersonalist. You're never going to be able to hear Krishna's name. The thoughts that we buy into, that's what we want to distinguish, because it's like, wait a minute, that's not true. Krishna doesn't say, you're an impersonalist in your mind, and so you'll never be able to hear my name. He doesn't say that. I made that up. My mind made that up, and I believed it. And I gave it power, and it affected me. It just gave me an excuse to just like, oh, well, I'll just keep chanting and maybe something. No, I am going to focus and hope against hope. I'm just going to keep trying to hear. I'm not going to give up my determination. So, distinguishing the thoughts in the mind that are disempowering us and contending with them and putting them over here gives us a new energy and a new hope. Does that make sense? Okay. One more.
Like you said, there are certain, always some thoughts are there in our mind which keep on telling us you can't do it, you will do it. But like, it's not that I will be able to do everything.
No, not all. We have to be really honest. Yeah. And, go ahead.
Then how to identify, okay, these things I can't do, these things I will do, because we have limited time, limited energy.
Yes.
Internally I may wish to do everything, but I'll have to be focused on which things I want to do.
And the soul does want to do everything. Like, the soul is really alive, and it really wants to do everything. And luckily we're eternal, so we have all of eternity to do everything that we want to do. We will be able to do it all at some point in time, and Krishna will fulfill all of that. But what does he want me to do in this particular lifetime, right now? What does he want me to focus on? Because if I try to do everything, I'm not going to be here very long, So just keep asking Krishna, like, what do you want me to focus on? What's the most important thing? He'll make it clear. He really will. But you have to ask the question, because if you just think, oh, I should, he's like, okay, if you say so, I'm not going to interfere. But if you say, no, Krishna, what, show me what you want me to focus on. Make it clear to me. I'm dull here, I can't see it, make it clear. He'll make it clear. He really will. Get it? Listen for it. Does that make sense? Yeah. One more question. He's real. Krishna's real, and he can hear your prayer, and he'll just say, okay, you want it clear? I'll make it clear.
Thank you, Mataji. I have a question. Like you told that desires are not necessarily our needs. So I have a question that if we find a Krishna conscious alternative to fulfill our need, then it might be the case that still those desires keep on haunting us.
Yes.
Because the need is fulfilled, because if I suppose the need is that I want to take tasty prasadam, So even if I fulfill that need, then desire can still keep on haunting us. So
I don't think the need is actually for tasty prasadam. I would say the need is for comfort and some kind of gratification. So in Krishna consciousness, there's a lot of sacrifice, especially in the brahmacharya ashram. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes on, and there's not a lot of comfort. And so somehow prasadam has become the license for, you can have some comfort here, and so then it becomes like all of our comfort starts to get fulfilled in that way. So I don't know if that's, if we can find other ways to provide comfort for ourselves, that won't take precedence because it's the only legal way you can have comfort.
So my question is for every desire, will there be a Krishna conscious alternative, or there will be certain desires which I need to control also? So what is the thin line between controlling certain desires and fulfilling them by a Krishna conscious alternative?
Again, I would say desires are strategies. So if you look under the desire and see what is the real need, needs are things like understanding, encouragement, support, camaraderie, relationship, love, comfort. All of those needs can be fulfilled in Krishna conscious ways. So, but desires are perverted ways in which we try to fulfill a need in a really fast way. But usually the quick fixes are the material fix. And those quick fixes don't honor the soul, and they don't last. And then you have to keep getting more and more and more and more and more. So that's the difference between, a desire and a need. When you fulfill a need, it's different. You're feeling satisfied.
Basically, we need to practice, in the summarizing, we need to practice controlling the perverted ways of fulfilling the needs, and we need to practice how to control the perverted ways of fulfilling my needs, and at the same time, I need to fulfill those needs by a Krishna conscious alternative.
Yeah, if your needs, everyone at any given point in time is simply trying to fulfill their needs. We have needs and we want to fulfill our needs. So, but if you can identify what the need is, if you can identify the need, then you can see a variety of strategies. If you don't identify the need, your mind is just going to say, grab this, grab that, grab this. It's going to give you all these strategies. It's going to try to figure out how to, give it to you immediately. But if you look, what do I really need? And what would be a Krishna conscious way for that need to be fulfilled? That answer can come, and it'll be a different way. It won't be a grabbing. It'll be like, wow. It'll feel different. There's one question in the back. I just want to honor the ladies a little bit. There's a lady. Haribol. Serving Krishna is not an external activity. Serving Krishna is a conscious offering to Krishna. If we have things to do at home that are part of our regular duties, and we do it as a service to Krishna because it's part of what our duty is, that is service to Krishna. But if we say that's not service and I gotta do this particular service, you're going to be really frustrated a lot of the time. So it's the consciousness. I'm taking care of my child and my family because this is my service, and then when I get other time, then I do the other things that also fulfill my needs, like going to the temple. But what you're doing and taking care of your family, that is service. Especially when you do it with the mentality that this is service. If you do it with the mentality that this is Maya and I should get out of this, you're not going to be happy, your family's not going to be happy, and no one's going to want to be Krishna conscious because you want to run off to the temple and not take care of us. So, like, we don't want to be devotees. Understand? It's service. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srimad Bhagavatam, and all glories to the assembled devotees. Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Bhagavad-Gita, Srila Prabhupada ki.